go. Hi, I'm Marina Kukla, and this is the Workwell Gang. We're here to talk about cognitive behavioral therapy for work success. We have a role play that's from an actual session. This is from session 12, which is our final session of the CBTw intervention. In this session, we talk about a work success plan in which participants or clients who are in this put together their own personalized work success plan. You'll hear in this, again, which is from an actual session, that people will talk about using our CBT model. We call it the 4 A's. And so that starts with being aware of our thinking, assessing that to see is it healthy, helpful, and accurate, and then answering that, coming up with something that's more helpful and adaptive for us, and then acting in support of that healthier thinking. And then finally, we use our accept A or acceptance to accept that we are imperfect people, but that we try our best. And so you'll hear some of that 4 A's language today in this very short role play from a real session. So we're going to start with that. This is also based on the premise that work success is something that has to be actively managed in order to keep it up so that people can continue with their work goals, as opposed to something that we more passively deal with. So you'll hear some discussion of that in this as well. So we're going to start now. I'm going to play the facilitator, and then everyone else here will play a participant from one of these sessions. So I'm the facilitator. Okay, well, I guess everybody has just kind of worked through their work success plan. So if people are willing to share, you don't necessarily have to share, but you can if you want. Anybody who wants to kind of talk through some of what they put into their work success plan?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nikki.
So my work success scenario is to find a job so that I can get back into the flow of things, of working, so I can get the job that I really want, like later on. I mean, that might be a job that I actually get initially or for future reference. All right, number one, aware. What helps me get through the day-to-day stressors that I have now is like thoughts and feelings about the success. Number two, assess thoughts about working success. Are the thoughts helpful, healthy, and accurate? What am I concerned about? What am I scared of? Failing at any point. But I know that I'm going to have my ups and downs. So what I do with those ups and downs are keys to the success, I guess. Answer unhealthy and unhelpful thoughts. Change your thinking. What can I say to myself about the situation that would be more helpful? Try it no matter what. If it don't work, try a new avenue approach. Number three, act. What can you do to support your work success? We discussed several strategies. List out one that you need to be focused upon. All right. Be more open-minded. That's one thing I need to do. The action I need to do. Last thing, accept. Do you need to accept that? Or what do you need to accept that you're a person who is capable of handling success? Try and be happy and be grateful for the opportunities I do get.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nikki. This is really kind of a tool to put it all together. Everything that we've talked about throughout 12 sessions. These are maybe things you've thought about in bits and pieces as along the way with this, but probably we haven't sat down and written it all out in this way or put it together. Hopefully this is something that can be really helpful, that you can come back to over time, not just use it today or tomorrow. I know, Nikki, you mentioned that you have an initial goal right now, but then you have other goals for the future. And so maybe then this is something you can actually revisit and revise with those new goals and try to use.
Oh, yeah, I can make it work in one plan, but if I can't, then I can always go back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have also additional blank work success plans if you want to write a new one at the back of your CBTw workbook or your manual.
So I view the workaholic standpoint with mine. I said because I'm always going through I'll get a job while I look. So I'll go and I'll do the quick apply for the apps that you can do through companies. And then usually like they'll have what I call their headhunters of people, you know, they'll read my resume and pick out keywords and stuff. Well, what makes you think you're a good fit? So when they ask those questions, you know, I come back to the answering part of it and it's like I'm trying to sell me. It's just like if I have a car I no longer drive, I've got to tell you the best features of the car, so hopefully it'll sell. So I just tell them that I'm really dedicated. I stay highly motivated to work. A couple of them, I've even told them that I said, well, I was on medical leave because of the damage to, you know, my foot. And they show their condolences and turn and say, well, are you able to come to the workforce now? So, like I said, I actually write down little things, thoughts and stuff. More of it's where I'll just have a conversation with myself, you know? I'll ask myself, well, why did you do that? That didn't make sense right there. And I'll turn around and answer, well, it seemed like the best thing at the time. So when I'm looking for work, I look at, well, is this job going to be something I want to look to maybe retire on? You know, do they have benefits and stuff that'll help me where I'm at? Or is this just a stepping stone to get the job I want? Because ultimately, like I said, I want to open up my own beauty shop, barber salon, being that that's what I've done for the last 42 years. So I want to have something to retire on and possibly pass on to my kids. So that's where my mindset is at the bigger picture down the road, you know, retirement.
That's great, Jess. And definitely, I mean, probably everyone has a larger goal or something down the road. But the reality is we can't jump towards that right now. And like you've said, you've got to break it down into those smaller steps, Jess, like you were saying, and that's perfect. And having those, I mean, that's what helps you to get to those bigger goals, those steps that then lead down that path to the bigger goal.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. So Miranda, did you have anything you want to share about your work success plan?
Sorry about that. No, but I will share, I guess, in the spirit of just participation. So obviously the goal is just employment right now, like my areas of opportunity that I kind of am concerned about as far as being aware is just, I tend to worry about the motivation, but have got to have a plan in that. I've realized it's a valid concern, but I'm not going to dwell on it essentially, and just kind of have a plan. And again, just to reiterate, this past week done a lot of things, kind of I'm finally getting back to the old me where I would be organized in my tasks and things like that. As far as the answer goes here, again, not going to dwell on, you know, I realize it's a valid concern, but not going to dwell on it. That was definitely something I think I was doing and just kind of sitting on it and not doing actionable items. So plan of attack is just to get going back to my old employed self, making lists, writing things down. One thing a new thing I guess I'm incorporating is just making kind of smaller chunks. I can be an extreme personality, like I try to do too much at one time. So making sure kind of honestly, if it's hour by hour, just making small achievable tasks. And that way I'm not overthinking on the big macro level and just kind of making just small achievable chunks so that again not be so straining. And then as far as accepting things, just kind of trusting myself. That's always iffy if I'm going to be, that will always be an area of opportunity in myself. But again, I've kind of picked up a lot of things here and just trying to put them into practice, not being too hard on myself and just believing in me.
Yeah, I mean, great. Thanks, Miranda. Definitely, you all did exactly what you're supposed to do, which is apply this work success plan to your current situation where you're at right now. And that's why it's definitely an ever-changing plan. So thank you. Thank you for sharing some of that. And we'll kind of do the next couple minutes is thinking through maybe what is something that you got from group or maybe something from the interactions in group. And I know like for me, and Amy, the other facilitator, this has been a great experience because we know, some clients or veterans who wouldn't otherwise work will just personally appreciate being able to like work through this process and learn with you and learn the material too. So I appreciate your dedication to coming every week, and coming when you can. But you're all here today and kind of wrapping this up. So one of my hopes is that really, whether you were able to attend all 12 sessions or not, that you take this workbook, you continue to use it and look at it and look at this content, and hopefully, you know, you'll have healthier thinking and actions or behaviors that will line up with that, and then it will help you towards your work goals. You can look back on this whenever needed. So this was, again, from a real session. It's just a small little chunk that we took from session 12. And so you can see the goal is you can see what this actually looks like. As you can see, there's only a few of us here and I'm the facilitator. So it's a small group that we had this week. But you can see kind of what it looks like where every person was able to share, in this case, parts of their didactic, which was the work success plan, and what that looked like for them. You could see differentially, it looked different for Nikki than it did for Miranda or for Jess. So this is just an example of that. Thanks for watching and appreciate it. Bye-bye.